All right, guys, we got a big game coming up this weekend. Let me see if I can dip my finger in a little college football this weekend. I actually haven't been checking the picks that I did from NFL last week, and I know I have put up a 10-teamer. I seen a couple of games hit on a ticket, but I don't really be checking games like that. I just figured that I lost. You know what I mean, stuff like that. But I see that Houston Texans took care of everything, and the Ravens took care of everything. That's no surprise to me. The Ravens, I told y'all they was most likely going to win the rest of the games of the season. And it's like they're about to do the same thing again. It's like, who they got up next? Dolphins? Yeah, probably going to whoop their ass, You seen that coming. Houston Texans, yeah, that's another team that I expect to be going on a winning streak. All right, so last week we didn't do any college football. So I was looking over the college football, and it was a lot of 1.5, -1.5 spreads. I want to stay away from that. And I was looking for some games that everybody, the public was going to be dipping into. And I saw this game, Georgia Tech versus NC State. And when I was looking on Vegas Insider, I saw that the spread for Georgia Tech had went, well, at least that's how they showed it, that it opened up at a -4.5 on the road and went to a -5.5. Usually when I see that on a team like Georgia Tech that's unbeaten, that kind of throws up some red flags. I could be wrong, but I think Georgia Tech is 8-0. Talking about I could be wrong about who wins this game, but Georgia Tech is 8-0, and I'm not sure what the Wolfpack is. Guys, I just kind of feel my way through these things, guys. Like I told y'all, this thing is like life to me. I don't have to know every single detail about the variables in my life sometimes to make wise decisions. You just kind of pick up these patterns, And so Georgia Tech is 8-0, and they go from a -4.5 to -5. Now, I'm thinking in my mind, if Georgia Tech is 8-0 and they're so good of a team, why does Vegas have to convince me? Number one, why does Vegas have to convince me that they should be going from a -4.5 to -5.5? At least that's what Vegas Insider is trying to convince me. And then why is the spread so low to begin with? It's like a team that's 8-0, that's so dominant in their division, will be at least favored by a touchdown, even if they're on a roll. But Georgia Tech, I mean, look, let's look at the teams that Georgia Tech beat that everybody had question mark, right? First it was Clemson, then it was Duke. Okay, so they beat Clemson and Duke. Okay. Look, guys, we're talking about the ACC here, and one thing I've learned about the ACC is that it's like any given Saturday for the ACC. I see a situation here where NC State can possibly win this game because they got this running back. I was doing a little research. They got this running back, called Smothers, and that seems to be Georgia Tech's weakness. And also, NC State has a couple of linebackers that can stop Georgia Tech's what they be running that option. They got some stuff on NC State that can stop what Georgia Tech's doing. I don't think Georgia Tech is covering this spread, and they might lose the game. It's the ACC we're talking about here, guys. And this is, again, every time, I see it all the time. Every time somebody starts winning in the ACC and everybody starts thinking that team is dominant, they end up losing. In this case, NC State, all the pressure is on Georgia Tech. NC State is at home. They're not a pushover type of football team. Okay, we're talking about the ACC here. All right, so this is going to be my first pick on the board for this upcoming football weekend. I know it's early, it's still Tuesday. It felt like it's Thursday for some reason, but I have a hunch that NC State is going to cover, if not win this game. Okay, yeah, I'm taking NC State plus 5.5. That's like an easy pick to me. I've seen this before.